All right, first question of the first passage is a great reminder that no matter what your reading strategy is, you need to save whole passage questions for last. Right? Because this is clearly about the whole passage. It's saying what happens in the passage. We are going to be tempted to answer this right away because it's the first question. But if we haven't read the passage, if we've used the no reading strategy, which is what I use, which is what I recommend, you can see my whole video lesson on it to get a walkthrough. But if we haven't read the passage, we obviously are not qualified to answer a question that's asking about the whole passage. We save these for last because after we do all of the other questions, we'll have a much better sense of what's going on. But even if you do read the passage, you should not answer this right now. This should be another question that you save for last, because when you answer all of the other questions that are about specific lines, you will learn more about the passage. You'll basically reread the passage. And so you'll have twice as much information and confidence about what's going on, and that will mean that you're more likely to get these things right. So no matter what your reading strategy is, you have to save these for last. No exceptions. So let's do that. I have done this last, so let's look at it. And let's try to maybe think about what this passage was about. I recall, it's kind of laid out weird, but I recall that this guy, Akira, kind of shows up at someone's door. He's a little bit worried. He's asking for someone's hand in marriage. And we talk about that. He's explaining himself all in here. We read this for other questions. And yeah, I mean to have him. That's the daughter's response. Okay. Notice I'm not getting all detailed here. This was kind of just my summary based on the other questions I had to answer. So A, one character argues with another character who intrudes on her home. Well, this is a case where I try to dumb it down as much as possible. That word argue is very strong. It's clearly doing a lot of work in this choice. And it's a very negative word. But my impression of the passage wasn't negative. It was positive, right? It's someone saying how much they love someone and they want to marry them. There was like negative feelings occasionally, but the whole passage did not give off a negative vibe. And so this seems wrong. It does not match with what my gut feeling was about this. Let's look at B. One character receives a surprising request from another character. Well, we can turn this choice into a bit of a question. What was the request? Well, the request was, will you marry me? So that seems to check out. Was it surprising? I don't know, maybe. I don't remember that specific detail, so I might not just, pick B yet. Let's look at some other choices, see if there's anything better. C, one character reminisces about choices she has made over the years. Well, I don't remember this being about the past. This seems to be about the present. This guy, Akira, is showing up right now and asking for marriage. So reminiscing is about the past. This is not a past event. D, one character criticizes, again, there's that negativity, another character for pursuing an unexpected course of action. And honestly, right here, even though this is wrong, I'm much more convinced that B is right. Because unexpected and surprising mean the same thing. And so there's clearly something going on that they want me to pick up on the idea of a surprise. And so I'm much more confident picking B, knowing that D is much more wrong, but that idea of surprise is probably in there. I may have just missed it. And so, yeah, the positive connotation of this, or at least it's just neutral, right? Surprising request, maybe that's just more neutral, but it's still better than these very clearly negative choices in A and D. I did not get a negative vibe, and so that alone is enough to make me pick B, which is the right answer. And I think that really gets to the core of a lot of the reading strategy is, and why we can get away with not reading the passage, is that you think you need the details. The SAT is not really asking about specific details and very minor facts. And when they do, they're directing you to those lines to look for them. What they're asking is about big picture ideas, the kinds of things that are repeated again and again and again. So if we don't read the passage, we might miss a couple of those repetitions, but we still get plenty of other repetitions in the lines that we do end up reading. So it's unlikely we're going to miss a main idea because it's going to be repeated so much. If this were a truly negative passage, I would have picked up on it. And the fact that I didn't made me very confident that A and D had to be wrong. And it was a much more positive passage, so B matches with that. You can do that. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts about what you're reading. You don't need every detail. Dumb versions of what you're reading are going to be sufficient.